welcome back to my channel. You're gonna hear a lot of yard and road noise in the background because I have the windows open and I live in a neighborhood and that's just how it is. Welcome to another vlog, welcome to another weekly vlog. It is the second to last week in October and I just need to get through all of these spooky books that I have checked out on Kindle Unlimited and for my library and all of that. So this week is going to be a grind to get through all of those things. So we might do a little bit of a reading challenge. We are going to be doing some productive stuff this week. But before we get into that, plans for the week and what we're about to do, I thought I would introduce new members of the family. I haven't named them yet, but we have this little acorn and we have this little plague doctor with a little pumpkin and his little coveralls with his hat. I love them so much. I got them on Sunday from my local comic book store, my favorite one in the area, and I love that they have a little family now. I got that one. I got these two in the spring from that comic book store, and so it's gonna be like a little tradition, I think. I didn't do as well as I was hoping. My partner did very well. He placed first, so round of applause for him, but overall I'm fairly happy with that whole experience, and it didn't drain me as much as I was anticipating, which is very exciting for me. So let's talk about what we're reading. So I'm currently still reading A Dark and Drowning Tide. I don't think I've gotten any further 140 than my last vlog. I didn't do much reading this weekend. I was helping my mom on Saturday, and then obviously we had that on Sunday. So I'm still reading this. This is a sapphic romance, fantasy romance. And then we have some library books that will be returning pretty soon. First is I Need You to Read This. I think this is a murder mystery. My Vampire Plus One, anticipating of the ones that I got out from the library, and that is I'm Afraid You've Got Dragons. Love this cover. I think it's a cozy fantasy. And then lastly, we have Lady Macbeth. I don't know how this is gonna go, but it returns to the library pretty soon. I haven't read anything from this author, but I have several of their things on my list. So we're gonna give this a shot. And then as far as audiobooks, I do have 2 audiobooks on this list to read for this month. They're both from the same series. One is a werewolf romance, and the other is a vampire romance. They're in the same series. I'm currently listening to the first one in the series, which is like a werewolf romance. This world is pretty interesting because it's like Ice Planet Barbarians, where humans crash into another planet trying to escape Earth, and they land in this world that has like paranormal creatures like werewolves, vampires, and stuff. So this first one is a childhood friends to lovers. I'm about 50% of the way through the werewolf one. I am enjoying it well enough. It's a good listen, but it's not like blowing my mind. So that's that as far as what I'm reading. And then the last thing before we get into the vlog is I finally got my binder and my paper for my file of facts. So if you watched my last vlog, you'll know that I'm attempting to set up a file of facts journal, and I did a ton of spreads digitally. And so I'm gonna print out my digital spreads and put them in here. We have like a beginning spread that's just gonna go in this tab as like an introduction to me. That's gonna be the thing that I do right now. We're gonna give it a shot and see how it works. I have everything pulled up ready for me to print. My printer is over there. We're all very official with an office and everything. So I'm gonna do that right now, and then we're gonna set up the actual journal. I will put some B-roll on it. I'll listen to my book or watch a YouTube video while we do it, and then hopefully it works out exactly how I'm hoping. It's gonna be trial and error to see like how everything fits.
Could have been proven as first degree. I think first degree might have been a stretch for a jury.
We find ourselves starting from scratch, brick by brick. No path carved out for us now.
So I'm glad I did a test print because it cut off. So I'm wondering if I need to go down, and then I also need to put the paper, I don't know why I didn't think of that, but I'm gonna try to go to A4 and see how I like it. I clearly need to get some color for my printer, but we're gonna give it a shot. I think we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna go down to A4. After many attempts, I got it. Okay, so basically when I was looking at it, you can see that the words are cut off. So the switching to A4 or whatever didn't work. So basically all I did was move all of my margins over, like move everything over in Canva. I'm printing it like an A5 because that's the paper that I have, and like trying to use a printer the way that you want is just a fucking nightmare, and so I'm not even gonna mess with it. I'm just gonna keep my Canva as A4 and keep the settings that I have and just move everything over, and hopefully that works. I'm gonna try to print the rest of my pages now. I also had to remove the background because I had this like paper, like newspaper, old paper color. You can't really tell, but it is not the whole page. So I'm just gonna go with a white background.
A holiday with family. I know some people
Carved out for us now. The brush is there. All I'm asking now, don't give up.
Okay, so I basically have it figured out for now, I think. So this is what it looks like, just closed, all that kind of stuff. I wasn't able to fit this in the pouch, so regular old. And yes, the words are still cut out. I think eventually I'll redo this. Maybe I'll redo it next year, the beginning of next year, and see how I'm feeling. I don't know how I'm gonna archive any of this or like what I'm gonna do once it's filled up, but I have this, a little about me. Then I decided that I wanted to do a dopamine menu. It got a little bit cut off. This is something that I want to fill out with my therapist next section, but this is like a map of me. So like my heart, my brain, my stomach, and I want to fill in a little bit because I think it would be nice to visualize some of my thoughts and the way that we talk about them in therapy. So I want to do that with her. Then we have a depression scorecard. This is something that was recommended to me by my therapist, and I just made it very cute. So basically you have a list of activities, of things that you can do that bring you pleasure, and you do them when you're depressed, and you put a little score, and I have a little section for notes, and I write my mood, where I feel it, like my brain, my body. I'm a very in my head person, so I want to have a section that I can rate it, or where I can feel it, and then a rating. And then we have my daily pages, and so all of my daily pages will go right here in this little section, and then every month we'll have different things. So this is gonna be like a running to-do list. I probably won't start this until November. It is almost the end of December anyways, so if I decide to use this, we'll see. I might just do it the last couple weeks and see how I feel about it, but it's just like a running to-do list. I don't want to do weekly or daily to-do lists, so this is kind of just like a month. And then also a workout tracker. We have a monthly reflections journal, and then we have some collages that I made throughout the month, and then we have this like book covers that I love and wanted to memorialize sort of thing. This is something for therapy. And we have my Over the Garden Wall collage that I was doing while I was watching it. So I'm really proud of this setup. I think this is the setup that I'm going to go with unless I come up with something better. And I'm pretty excited about doing it digitally. Like I said, it was a learning curve as far as like figuring out how to print the way that I wanted, but I'm pretty happy with the way that this turned out. I'm in love with like being able to see this on the front. I think it's so cute. I like the clear binder. I might change it up eventually, but for the moment this is like exactly what I wanted for what it was, and for me not really being sure if it's something that I'm gonna do long term. I'm enjoying it, so I like the way that it turned out. Now I am going to do a little bit of cleaning up, and then I think I'm gonna play some Lorcana.
Don't give up on tired, my love, but future for poor. I meant every word that I told you before. All I'm asking now, don't give up.
Hi, okay. As you can tell, I have an entire stack of laundry to do, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about A Dark and Drowning Tide. I am 146 pages in. I've literally read 6 pages since we talked. I'm not that interested in this story, to be honest. I enjoy the author's writing enough, but it's just not capturing me. And like, it is beautiful. Love the writing, but there's just something about it that I'm just not understanding. Like, there's just something missing, I feel like. And so I think I'm just gonna reserve the audiobook from my library. The hold is something like 23 weeks or something crazy like that, so I'm not anticipating that I'll get it anytime soon, but I'm just gonna put it on my shelves. It's gonna look gorgeous, and we're gonna move on to the next book because I have quite the TBR, and the last thing that I need is to go into a reading slump. So I just started I Need You to Read This, and this is such a strong opening. Very creepy, very scary.
You lay easy on my mind. Like a candle, I just burn away. All we really had was time.
And just to make a link back to AI.
All we really have is time. I don't wanna waste it on anybody. Take it with anybody but you. I don't wanna waste it on anybody. Take it with anybody but you.
Happy Friday, friends. Friday morning. I'm obviously home from work today, and it's been a bit of a weird week, I would say. I know I haven't talked to you guys recently. I think the last time we talked was Monday, but I've just been kind of in a weird headspace. Not necessarily bad, but I've just been a little all over the place, so I didn't feel like ready to talk. And I wasn't reading or really doing much. Like, I was journaling and stuff, but mostly I was just like watching Twitch and stuff like that. There's a court case going on that Emily D. Baker is covering, so I've been watching that a lot, and so I just haven't really had very many updates for you. But I did just finish I Need You to Read This, which is not very long. It's a little over like 250 pages. I think I started this at the beginning of the week, and like I said, I just haven't been reading a ton. This is basically about a woman who takes over the position of a advice columnist after the previous woman dies. She's murdered. The main character, Alex, has a bit of a past, and she's living in New York. She's running away from a secret in her past, and she has 2 friends that she met at the local diner. She's like working a job that she doesn't love. They mention to her that the position for the advice columnist is available, and so she sort of like applies for the job because she has been reading this advice columnist for years, and she's mad that they're replacing her, and so they want to see like what are the requirements, what are the questions they're asking, stuff like that. And so she hate applies and she ends up getting the job. And so there's several things going on in the story at once as far as plot lines. She's like trying to solve the mystery of the previous advice columnist. There's like weird stuff going on with her boss, and she also has like this budding relationship going on and this underlying tension from like the secrets of her past. And then in between each chapter, we're also getting letters of a woman who is writing to the advice columnists about her abusive relationship. I read this author's other work, The Golden Spoon. I liked it. It was more of like a cozy story. It did have a murder, but it wasn't quite like this. This had cozy moments, and I wish that it had been a little bit more of a cozy mystery, because it does get quite weird at the end. I don't know, it just got a little bit like, I didn't love the ending. I didn't like how the mysteries, all of the different mystery plot lines wrapped up. This could have been longer, honestly, and I think it would have worked with all of the different plot lines wrapping up. Like maybe another 50 pages would have wrapped up a lot of the storylines a little bit better. And I get the author's approach for the ending, but I didn't love it. So I gave this a 3-star. It was fine. It was quick. It was not necessarily fun, but it was just like a book. You know what I mean? I don't know who I would recommend this to. It's not fast paced like a thriller. It's not fun and quaint like a cozy mystery. It's not like horror-y. It just kind of really, it's just meandering, and it's a book. I do have some other books that I need to read, like we talked about at the beginning. I don't know what I'm gonna choose out of the 3 that I need to read. I'm kind of between these two, the vampire romance or the cozy fantasy. I don't know if this is actually cozy, I'm just assuming. So I don't know which one I'm gonna go with. I'm kind of leaning towards this one because I think it'll be fun. And it's like a vampire story, and it's October 25th. Oh, we're talking about vampires. This is a sign. My Dracula wallpaper. So I think we're gonna go with this one, and then we'll read this one next, I think. And then lastly, we'll read Lady Macbeth. I'm going to try to read all of these over the next couple of days. It's Friday, like I said. This video might go out on Monday or late Sunday, unfortunately, because I just feel like I haven't done enough in this video. My intention for all of the videos in October, all of the vlogs, was to like base them around like spooky books or like something Halloween-y and have it be more like reading focused. We just didn't really do any of the things that I had planned for this month. Like I wanted to go to a pumpkin patch. I wanted to go to a local amusement park that does like Halloween stuff, and like sure, I could go out and do them alone, but that doesn't sound like a good time. Unfortunately, this month is like not turning out exactly how I wanted it to, but I am probably gonna finish this vlog into Sunday, get it up for you guys Sunday evening, and go from there. I hope you guys don't mind. Obviously you're watching this when you're watching this, but anyways, we're gonna read this, see how this goes. I'll give you my thoughts. We'll talk later.
What was it they used to say? Seeking you will find. There is nothing in you that is fading. All you ever do is shine.
Okay, so I've spent the last 3 hours trying to fix our dishwasher. I thought I fixed it this morning, like right before I filmed that clip, and I did not. So I had to take the whole thing apart, which was not fun. But I think I have it fixed. I had to do some laundry, have to finish doing the dishes whenever the dishwasher is like fully done fixing itself. But in the meantime, I'm going to watch Emily D. Baker, and I'm gonna start my Vampire Plus One. I'm pretty sure this is about a woman who has like a fake dating situation with a vampire, and she like takes him to a wedding and stuff. I have read the first one. I tried to read the first one and I just couldn't get into it, but I've heard that Reginald, who is the vampire, is like very kooky and fun, so I'm gonna give it a shot. But I'm gonna listen to Emily D. Baker and do some work stuff. In between that, I will read this. So I'm gonna reorganize my bookshelves. I have all of my like special editions right here, as you can see, and I'm not really digging it, so I think I'm gonna reorganize and I'm gonna get some b-roll of it. But my camera's about to die, so if it dies during this, I'm really sorry, and I'll show you when I'm done.
You are brighter all the time. I don't wanna waste it on anybody. Take it with anybody but you.
Just redid. Oh, okay, thanks. I just redid my entire shelves. I just put them back in the rainbow. This section is blocked by my chair, so I'm not like really concerned. But now I gotta put the decor back on.
Correct.
Blue dew,
For less reliable
blue
than other
moon,
methods. You should consider how
kind of
this is active
mysterious,
as well.
shaded with someone I'm not really into. Do you need to fix it?
That is inconsistent with the testimony.
Talking bullshit. It's hard to see you when your eyes look dull. Who's gonna save you? Who's gonna make you not lose? Not lose.
So we are 36 pages in and I'm entirely obsessed with Reginald. So we've really just been introduced to our characters, but Reginald is, I think he was born, he's like a couple hundred years old, and when the heroine meets him, he's wearing a fedora, a black t-shirt that says Blame Bezos, a trench coat, and a pink gingham skirt with a fedora. And in his in this most recent chapter, we're in his point of view, and he's talking about the decor in his house, and he says, "And there was my most prized possession, a framed oil painting of Edward Cullen on the wall above the sink, sparkly and magnificent as he gazed moodily into the middle distance." So he's being hunted by a like vampire association that's trying to kill him for this fire that happened that they think he did. And they broke into his apartment and left a 3-foot-tall cardboard cutout of Count Von Count from Sesame Street.
That mood, sort of witty and jaded, but let's not talk about you. Your coyote song on a rerun. Are you hound dog tired, singing all night long? Who's gonna save you? Who's gonna make blue moon. Been
So I am fed, exercised, watered, and moisturized, and so I'm ready to finish up my Vampire Plus One. I'm 179 pages in, like I said earlier, and I'm liking this a lot. I think it's cute. I really like Reginald. He's not your typical hero, and he's definitely not your typical like vampire hero. The storyline is pretty fun. To kind of get her family off of her back. She claims that she's seeing someone, and she's gonna take him to all of their like family functions that are happening around one of her cousin's weddings. And so she runs into Reginald, she enlists his help, he agrees, and Reginald is being hunted down by the collective, the Volturi, but they're not very good at their job. They claim that he killed a bunch of vampires in a fire 200-300 years ago, and they're not doing a very good job of like hunting him down and finding him, but it's funny. Their relationship is fun. I think the little like miscommunications around like him being a vampire and all of that is pretty interesting. He'll like make allusions to the fact that he's a vampire, and she's like, what are you talking about? And it's funny, it's fun. I really like Reginald. I would like a little bit more of his point of view. Most of the chapters have been Amelia's point of view, but it's been fun to like, he bullet journals. So it's been fun to like read his bullet journal and stuff, and like he's getting into bullet journaling, and he's like discovering all of these like human things that he enjoys doing, and so it's fun. I'm enjoying it a ton. And right where I'm at now, they have like a cabin alone forced proximity situation, snowed into a cabin situation, which is fun. So I'm definitely enjoying it. It's definitely more gripping than the first one. It's just silly and fun, and it makes me giggle, so I'm gonna finish it up. I don't have that much left, and I'll give you my thoughts, and then we'll move on to something a little bit darker, possibly, perhaps, and then go from there. So
well, I get so it's hard to take one when your iPhone's full. Who's gonna save you? Who's gonna make you not blue? Not blue. Not blue.
Alright, so I finished up my Vampire Plus One, and I really enjoyed this. I don't have too many differing opinions than what I told you in my last clip, but I enjoyed this. I definitely liked it more than the first one, and it could be right place, right time situation. Sometimes books like these just don't work for me, and sometimes they do. This just came along at the right time, and I enjoyed it. I landed on a 4-star for it, and I think it's fun, it's cute, it's funny, and I really, really like Reggie. I think he's a great hero, so I would recommend it if you're looking for like a goofy, funny time. And then I also started the Mayfair Witch, which I think is based on the Witching Hour series by Anne Rice. I haven't read anything by Anne Rice, but I have watched tons of her adaptations. I tried the Interview with the Vampire adaptation that they did, I think on HBO or something, at the beginning of the year, earlier in the year, whenever it was released. I tried it, and I wasn't the biggest fan. This one seems to be about a line of witches, and it's set in Louisiana. The main character was adopted, and she starts like coming into her powers, and it results in the death of like 3 people. I imagine she's gonna end up back in Louisiana with her family. There's definitely some like family secrets going on. We got her mother's point of view. There seems to be like a lot of creepy, weird, bad, spooky stuff going on with the family. I don't know if I'm gonna continue it anytime soon. I just have a list of shows that I want to try, and and like this didn't grip me enough. It's only 8 episodes, so we'll see, but it didn't grip me enough that I really want to continue. 249, and I want to do some reading still. I'm very much in a reading mood. I do think I want to switch it up. I don't want to romance, but I am feeling in a fantasy mood, so I think I'm gonna try to read that cozy fantasy and see how I feel about it. So we'll probably talk about it whenever I'm in and have some thoughts.
All my islands and the seas, all I need from you to me. All my islands and the seas, all I need from you to me. All my islands and the seas.
Good morning, friends. It is 7:56 on Sunday, and I wasn't doing a ton of stuff yesterday. There was a Lorcana event after we talked that I watched, and then I started reading I'm Afraid You've Got Dragons. I got 110 pages in. It is 280 pages, I believe, and I'm liking this a lot. This is fun. This is not really what I was expecting. It's multiple points of view, but the writing is a little interesting. It's reminiscent of like a Beverly Jenkins, where she just like switches points of view just randomly. But this follows Robert, Princess Cirrus, and then Crown Prince Reginald, and some other like random points of view whenever it's relevant. Robert is the town's local dragon exterminator. He took the business over after his father passed away. Princess Cirrus, her parents are trying to get her married. She has like a monthly time where all the princes in the area come and try to like bid for her hand, and it doesn't work until she runs into Prince Reginald, who is on an adventure, and she meets him like randomly outside the castle. He comes to the castle, realizes that she's a princess, and they sort of have like a thing. She's very enamored with him. He's not really all that interested in her, it seems like. Robert is interested in her. He thinks she's gorgeous, and he has like funny feelings around her, but they haven't really had a ton of interaction. They like played when they were children, but obviously he's like a peasant, quote unquote. She's a princess, so. Okay, my camera died, so I hope things don't look too different, but Cirrus really wants Reginald to propose to her. So she tells her parents, like, we have to clean up the castle, we have to get rid of all the dragons, and we need to like make this place spick and span. They hire Robert to exterminate the dragons. Robert doesn't want to do this. He took over the business from his father, but unlike his father, he doesn't really like killing dragons. They breed, and there's a lot of different types of them, and they like live in walls and stuff like that. So the castle is essentially overrun, and Robert has, through his years after having taken over his father's role, has saved a lot of dragons, and they're now like living with him. Unfortunately, there's just way too many dragons for him to do that. So butler or something, chamberlain or something like that to the prince, approaches Robert and says, I have been tasked by the king to take Prince Robert on an adventure, and he has to like do something big, and I want him to slay a dragon. And so they all go on this expedition. The prince tells the Cirrus's family, like, once I do this dragon slaying, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna marry your daughter. So the place that I'm at, they're packing up for this adventure to go find a dragon. Robert's going with them. The princess is kind of like leading the charge. The prince is not super interested in actually doing it. He seems very scared, but he's a bit of a scatterbrained character. He's a bit like, you can tell he just very much like wants to be at home reading books, which is like relatable. But I don't think this is gonna be a new favorite, but it's a solid story and I'm really enjoying it. I would like to see more dragons than what we've seen, and I'm interested to see how the story itself resolves itself. This is an entirely random thought. And if you've read this book and watched the show, which is such a weird intersection, but if you agree, let me know in the comments. But this makes me want to watch Merlin. There's something about this book that just feels like the Merlin TV show, and I think that's why I'm enjoying it so much, even though it's not like the best story ever. Merlin is one of my favorite TV shows. I've watched it so many times, and this makes me want to rewatch it. So I might have to do a rewatch in November once I'm past all the spooky stuff.
Falling down, and I need you to catch me. Oh, my intimacy is all I need for you to hear. Oh, my intimacy is all I need for you to hear. Intimacy is all I need.
I have finished I'm Afraid You've Got Dragons, so it is time to wrap up the vlog. I finished this maybe 10 minutes ago. I liked this. I thought it was cute. It's definitely not a cozy fantasy. It's quite gruesome with the animal deaths and stuff. So if you're looking for a cozy fantasy like this sort of implies, maybe this isn't for you. The last like 100 pages were the boss fight, so that was a little bit drawn out, and I feel like that with the story in general, the pacing was a little bit odd, but I think overall it's a good story, and I'm just obsessed with the cover and the end pages and all of that. I think overall it's a good story. I can see why people would love it. I can see why people would hate it. For me, it was like an in-between book. I'm definitely excited to go back to like some fantasy romance. So I think that's what we're going to be reading in next week's video after I get through the remaining library books that I have. I think I only have one, maybe, that I need to get through. Like, they're going to return sooner than the other books are. So we're going to read that, and then we're going to go on to some fantasy romance, thankfully. But that's it for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I would love to talk down below with you guys about how your week went, or if you've read anything in this video and have some thoughts, or just your thoughts in general. I would love to talk. Don't forget to subscribe if you're looking for more content like this. I do reading vlogs, regular cozy vlogs, and just in general talk about my thoughts about really everything. So if you're interested in that, don't forget to subscribe. All of my socials are linked down below if you're interested in following me on Instagram and Threads. I'm trying to be more active over there, so if you want to follow me on the daily, that is where you can find me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in my next one.
I want slow love, uncomplicated touch. Stay